Welcome. Today I have the phenomenal delight to welcome Ambassador Eric Thompson on this call, and we're going to speak about wealth and relationship to money. And just before we dive in, I'm Maria Johansson, based in Sweden, Lerum. I'm a guide, teacher, healer, and ritual master with the Modern Mystery School. And Eric himself has studied with the Modern Mystery School for 15 years. And currently, if I'm not mistaken, you are in sunny Brazil. Welcome, Ambassador Eric.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I'm really good because today we're going to talk about a really good subject. And it's such a joy to have you here with us. And briefly, before we dive in, Ambassador Eric is an ambassador. He's representing the Third Order of the Modern Mystery School. He's also a Kabbalah teacher and so much more. He is one of the top people in the world to listen to this topic about wealth and, yes, money. We will speak about both. So maybe Eric, if you permit, we dive right in.
Sure, let's do that.
All right, we are ready. So let's start. What is your definition of wealth?
Well, good morning. Hello, everybody. It may be evening when you're watching this. Well, wealth is such a wide, I would say there's so many definitions. A lot of people sometimes say, well, I have a wealth of joy, I have a wealth of love, I have a wealth of this, and that's true. But what that really means is you have an abundance of those things. So wealth would be an abundance of some good or asset, I would say. What we talk about in this particular case of the building wealth class, for example, is actual financial abundance. But it also relates to everything because it's all related. There's no way to take it apart, right, Maria?
Right. But okay, so we'll hone in on the key point perhaps to begin with, and then we can untangle it a little bit. But what is money? And what is it not, perhaps?
Okay, well, good question. So money actually it's something that you can use for trade right now, right? So you have money, it's a piece of paper, it's worth something or it's not worth something depending on, the actual currency. And then you can use that as exchange for some other service, product, or some other good. Now, money really is energy, right? So basically what it is, it's an amplifier. And what money allows you to do, if you have an abundance of money, it allows you to express your internal thoughts into physical manifestation. So, for example, if you have money and there's things that I want to do, I can express it into physical manifestation, or I can make it happen because I have money. However, if I do not have money, then I won't be able to express that into the world. So I will express it according to what I can afford, not according to what I desire.
Yeah, great. And I can maybe make a small personal note there because when I was based in Boston, I was a global director for a multi-billion-dollar company living in one of the more affluent areas. And at that point, I wanted to do good. And I started a nonprofit. I started a school project in West Africa. I couldn't have done that without money. But at the same time, I was really looking negatively on boardrooms and on, the supreme wealth. And I was a little bit upset. That's how I found the Modern Mystery School, by the way. But at the same time, I had that possibility to make a difference, right? But if you want to elaborate a little bit about what is your relationship to money and wealth today?
Well, I would say that a lot of us we weren't ever trained about money. We never really learned how to deal with money. So in my family, for example, I grew up listening to money doesn't grow on trees, and things like, well, that guy, he has some money, and they say, well, he probably, stole to get that money, or he probably did something illegal to get that. So there's a lot of these, oh, that guy, he's filthy rich, like that kind of thing, like filthy. And so you start having this programming that actually starts sabotaging you, even the whole thought of, well, I remember wanting to have like real Coca-Cola when I was a child, and we weren't able to buy real Coca-Cola because there existed this other off-brand name. and it was cheaper. So we would buy that one, even though we wanted Coca-Cola, because that was less expensive. So, my parents, God love them, but they were doing the best that they could. Their parents grew up in the Depression and things like that. So they had this thoughts of lack and these thoughts of there's not going to be any more coming in. Instead of us realizing that there is an abundance flow, it's always of we need to save just in case no more comes in. And what those things do, we don't really think about it. What they do is they program us so that when we do have money, we start spending it because we think it's never going to come in again. So you get that little extra bit in your paycheck and you spend it. Or, when you do have it, you don't want to be seen as a rich person because that might be considered bad depending on your upbringing. So, money does not make a good person bad. If you're a good person, you're going to do good things with money. Now, if you're a bad person, you're probably going to do bad things with money. So the money is not going to change you per se. It's not going to change you. It will amplify what you already are. So I know you're going to do great things with money if you have money. You're going to be able to help others. You're going to be able to help your family. You're going to first help yourself because you do have to help yourself so that you can give, because you can't give what you don't have, right? So all this, I want to help everybody. If I don't have, I can't give. So yeah, you should be wealthy. You should have money so that you can share and enjoy as well, because we do live in this physical world.
Very true. It's in this reality that we can also make things better for others. But if we summarize a little bit and to try to hone in on what are some major and very common pitfalls and misconceptions around money, perhaps, oh, I'm going to get rich and win the lottery, like easy come, easy go, or like you were already talking about, if you're born into it. I mean, like all these things. Could you elaborate a little bit further on some of those major energies, maybe around energy, that are clouding our,
Yeah.
I am worthy?
Yeah, I think that exactly one of those things is, am I worthy? I don't think I'm worthy of it. A lot of times we don't value ourselves. A lot of times we think that if we take, then it's going to be less for somebody else. There are so many different beliefs that we have that we need to let go. So one of the things we need to do is know ourselves. This is one of the main keys, which is why I always, stress to people that they should do a life activation, that they should do the Empower Thyself class. The Empower Thyself class is one of the things that really helped me to be able to start understanding who I was, and how things worked in the world so that I could be the best that I could be and start getting in touch with who I really was and not all this programming. So I think one of the main keys that a person can do is know thyself, because, if we don't know ourselves, then we're just kind of spinning around in circles like I did, for example. I've started over 3 times with nothing, just literally the clothes on my back and less than $500 to my name, like literally. And I started over 3 times. I've built myself up to where I had nice houses. I had BMW, Mercedes, travel around the world wherever I want to, stay at the best hotels. And then I'd lose that. And then it would come back. And then I'd lose it. And that is from a lack of knowing myself, because I could see the potential that I had to get it. And maybe you watching here have had, money or love or joy, and then it slips away. And then it comes back, it slips away. But that's just not a great way to live. We need to understand who we are so we can keep that steady flow, because we want to be in the flow. I don't want to be separate from the flow and then in the flow, separate, because it's like turning a light on and off. It's just, you want to stay in the light all the time, right? So I think know thyself is the key to really everything. Because if you understand yourself, you can understand abundance, financial abundance, joy, love, all of these things.
So this is
Less
kind
reactive in the world.
Yeah, we're reacting, right? And to circle back on what you were saying before, wealth is so much more than money. And also to build on my own experience, when I was in a perhaps somewhat, material successful position, I was yearning. I was longing for wealth in other areas of my life, meaning, connection, purpose. Do you want to elaborate maybe what wealth, if we can really look at as within, so without, and wealth is, money is one of the representations of what we have inside, if we have that worth, but wealth can be health and so much more. If you want to elaborate, into all the other areas of our divine representation here on earth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think that, I've had some people take the building wealth class before, and that were extremely wealthy. I mean, extremely. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars, people that have that. And they could still find things in this class, because we're not just talking about, we're not talking about balancing your checkbook. We're not talking about learning what's the new mutual fund or stocks, or how you can cut expenses to fit things into your life. We're talking about expansion. We're about expanding ourselves as beings, not contracting ourselves. And a lot of people, one of the misconceptions that when you were talking, that it reminded me of, is sometimes we think we can save our way to riches. It's like, I don't think Elon Musk cut on his coffee every single day to get his money, nor Bill Gates, nor Jeff Bezos, nor any of the people that are what we would consider wealthy. So there are keys that we need to have so that we can do that. So, like I said, this person came and he learned about, love, how he can increase his own self-worth, how he understands how things actually manifest, so that he can increase it more if he wants to, for whatever reasons that he wants to, but then also understand who he is, so that he can be creating, because everybody's good at something. I mean, you may be great at finance, but you're not good at love. You may be great in the love area, but you're not good with finance, and vice versa. So there's always something that we can expand and grow, because we are these multidimensional beings, right?
So if you're talking about expansion and growth, what are some foundational things we could look at to really get a healthier relationship to wealth and money?
Well, first of all, you need to make friends with money. So I ask you, what's your relationship to money? When you do have some money, are you in the flow? Does it come to you, and do you share it freely, or are you holding on to it as if there's not going to ever be any more? Because if you look at a universe that's giving, right? And this universe is giving, well, it's giving accordingly to what you can hold. So we talk about in the mystery school about you holding more light, you having more capacity to hold more love, more light, more energy, more clarity, more all this. But to do that, you need to expand. You don't need to contract. You need to expand so that you can fit more. For example, if you take a basket, and I go down to the apple orchard, then I can only fit as much apples as will fit in my basket. So if I want to have more love, I want to have more respect, I want to have more joy, I want to have all these things, I need to expand my container so that I can do that. But I also have to give, because I can't receive what I don't give. So if you want more compassion, give others more compassion. If you want more respect, if you want people to respect you, then respect others. If you want more friends, be more a friend to other people, because you need to be that of which you desire. So then the universe will give you more of what you're ready for. So one example I like to give is that why would the universe, God, why would you expect anybody to give you more of something that you can't handle? So sometimes people win the lottery, and then their money goes away within 2, 3, 5 years. They don't have the money anymore. Why? Because they don't know how to handle the money. They don't know what to do with it. They haven't prepared themselves to receive. And that's one of the keys in the mystery school, is we're preparing ourselves, which we call, being worthy. We call, making yourself worthy of all things. So we need to understand that, not just have money come in and then it goes away.
But somebody who's listening might feel, oh goodness, I am light years away from being all of this. But if there was like one or a few little minor shifts that you would say, okay, if the foundational work sounds completely, what are some minor shifts? Because as we do anything, it's how we do everything. So if we manage to change something in the micro, it will be reflected in the macro. So I would like, I want to think that everybody can come onto this path and can come to this class and learn so much from it. But if right now where the people who are
Sure.
listening receive this and like, okay, give me one
Yeah.
nugget. Can I work with this?
All right. So how about one nugget? One nugget would be for you to, well, if you look at your house, is it full of
Mm.
clutter?
This is
Look,
good.
yeah, look at your house. Is it full of clutter? Okay, so if it's full of clutter, then you need to clean out some things. So look at the things that you do have. Do you have a lot of things that were given to you that you really have no value for, but you're just keeping them because Aunt, Gertrude gave you this item 60 years ago and you don't want to throw it away and you still have it. So look at all the items that you have. Is it something that you want there? So I would look at that, clear out your closets of old things that are just taking up space. Why? Because this is also reflective of your mind. And our subconscious mind is full of a bunch of garbage. So if we don't empty it out, if we don't start, emptying things out, you really can't fit more. And that's why we feel overwhelmed sometimes. So I
Mhm.
would I would say, eliminate the clutter, eliminate the excess things. Then you can receive more. If you have an empty
Yeah.
closet, you can have more dresses, you can
Yeah.
have more clothes, you can have more shoes.
And you can have beauty because the clutter is not beautiful to look at, right? I laughed a lot when you said that because when I joined the school, like the modern mystery school, and I started to meditate a lot, everything was like, it gotta go. So at the end, I was in like a yoga mat in front of my open fire, and my friends came home, they're like, you really took this literally. I was like, yes. Nothing was holding the energy that I wanted to see anymore. So I gave away. I was like, and now I could start anew. So I love that example. It's a good nugget. It really shifted a lot for me personally. And
Yeah.
thank you.
And it seems so small and it seems like, oh, that's not going to make a difference, but it's a huge,
Oh,
huge difference. It's like
massive.
changing your hair or changing your clothes or changing something. It allows you to see a little bit of shift in you, and then you start to maybe stand up a little straighter and you start to feel like something's shifting, and
Yeah.
it just gets you moving again.
Beautiful. I could listen to you all day, Ambassador Eric. I'm so grateful that you took the time to speak about this very important topic for so many more things because it starts within, and I think this area is relevant to most people. But where do we find you if they want to learn more? You do teach the class to build wealth in your own life. How do they find you?
Well, right now you can find me on my website. It's ericthompson.com.br, because you have
Mhm.
to add the BR at the end,
Yeah.
ericthompson.com.br. And you can find all the information about all the classes. And there's also going to be a class coming up in London
Yeah.
on December 5th. So if you
Yeah.
want any information for that, you would look for the Modern Mystery School in UK.
Yeah, beautiful. And like you're teaching frequently. Next week I'll see you in Toronto. So modernmysteryschoolint.com. You have all the classes that are around the world, and you are frequently in them around the world. So, but I'll also see you in London in December for Kabbalah and this beautiful wealth class. But from the bottom of my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you, and can't wait to see you.
Okay, thank you, Maria. Bye bye.
Bye.